her now. She's, I've got her now.
Okay.
I'm starting here anyway. I mean,
All right, good.
assume you've got enough battery.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm sorry about the mistake.
Oh, that's okay.
Twice
No big
because
deal.
I get a lot of these, and I should have put them in a specific file that was for this truck. Well, you're certainly accomplished, little girl.
Isn't it amazing? Even how wild she is.
Just a champion tracker and a walk. Okay.
She got her TDX this week.
Yeah. Did she? Nice.
I was real happy about it.
Really nice.
And one open A with her
There's
first
nothing
leg.
like that getting to that last.
I've never been so happy to get out of the woods in my whole life.
Yeah, right. It's like Hansel and Gretel, right?
Yeah.
Jan, babes, where's the lens on this, just so I know I'm not covering it?
Well,
If you can see it, if you can see it clearly,
you're
you're
happy.
not covering it.
Yeah. So mainly because I do agility and because she's so careless with her body.
Right, and because agility is inherently somewhat dangerous.
It
I mean,
is.
somewhat, or
Absolutely.
you know, not
Yeah.
dangerous, but there's an increased risk of injury
Right.
in a dog that does that. So, and that's happening more and more because of the nature of agility, with a lot more tight turns and back jumps and
I'm
things like
really
that.
fascinated by what you said about dirt because boy, I have people that's it. That's all they'll train on. That's all they'll
Yeah.
compete on.
Does it make sense though? I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't have the consistency that we want. If it always stayed the same as it is for the first dog after it's been prepared, that would
Yes.
be fine.
Yes.
But, and I learned that the hard way through having very severe injury. All four legs of my little one were injured, and actually she's chronically injured, and she's in a little bit of chronic pain the rest of her life, and that's from running on dirt. And the reason I went to that place was because it was convenient for my RV. Now, what a stupid reason to compete at a certain site.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I like the way she's standing. I'd like to just take a look at her standing, how she naturally ends up. So if you don't look at her and just walk forward and stop, she'll just stop and stay in a standing position. Just don't look at her and just stop there. Usually a dog will just stand. Standing is their natural stance. And she has a very nice four-square natural stance that she comes into when she stops.
Okay.
Hey, sweetie, come and say hi. Say hi. Oops, I just leaned on your toe. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
I'm sorry that you have no friendliness in you.
No.
No friendliness in
She's just
you.
that standoffish nature.
Yeah.
Can I do something to help?
No, I'm just having a little feel here. What I first do is I feel her muscles, musculature. I want to know, I'm feeling her paraspinal muscles right here, which are the muscles that are on either side of her spine.
Okay.
They are, of course, very important core musculature. I'm feeling her abdominal muscles. Now, and then I'm feeling her front leg muscles and her rear leg muscles. What I'm feeling for is their size and their firmness.
Okay.
And I'll give you a kind of a percentile from 0, which would be the worst, to 100, which would be the best. So her rear legs are like 90 percentile. They're really nice. Okay? It could be maybe a little more toned up, but they're really 90th percentile. Who's going to complain about that? Her abdominal muscles are much like my abdominal muscles. 50th percentile, 45th percentile, something like that.
Okay.
She has very weak abdominal muscles. Her paraspinal muscles, though, are about 75th percentile. So she has an imbalance in her core. Her abdominal muscles need work, but her back muscles are not bad at all. They could use a little bit of work.
Okay.
And her front leg muscles are great. Okay, so they're like 90th percentile too. So what you have here is you have a dog with a really strong front and a really strong rear and a weak core.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some exercises to do for her core that you can do all the time, and it doesn't take any more than about 5 minutes, really, a day, but you should do them every day.
Okay.
Okay?
How long would
And
it
feel this, actually, feel her, can you feel how it's sort of when you feel her, it's just kind of, yeah. Whereas compare that to these
Oh,
muscles. They feel very different.
Yeah.
They should feel the same.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
No six-pack for you.
And so if I did those exercises every day, how long would it take to get the back into?
Probably a month or so, and then you'd maintain at that point.
Okay.
And I'll give you those exercises at the end after I do
Okay,
the
that's
event.
fine.
Okay, so rear angulation, let's start with rear angulation. She's got a little bit less than moderate rear angulation, a little bit low on rear angulation, okay? So, got it there. There you go. Not awful, but a little bit straighter than average, okay? You can stretch, yes, you can stretch, but then you have to stand up again.
Okay.
Stand up. Good girl. There are some advantages to having a straighter rear. The big one for agility is the dogs turn better. You ever see German Shepherds turning in agility? They're swinging way, way, way out like this. Even Irish setters or some of the dogs like Weimaraners or other dogs with very angulated rears, they don't turn sharply. You can see them. They're just swaying around. A dog like her is going to turn on a dime.
She does.
It's an advantage.
She does.
Okay? I'm not saying having a straight rear is a disadvantage, because remember what we talked about last night. There's, stability is good when you're turning. Having a lot of rear angulation is good if you want to run fast and cover ground. Well, agility is a combination of both of those things. So she may not, and actually, it depends a little bit on the course. If the course is twisty and turny, she's going to have a great advantage. If the course is one of these ones that has big sweeping outside turns and everything, that may not be her strength. Okay? So that's a good thing, her rear for turning. And for being able to place her rear exactly where it should go. That's an advantage.
Okay.
So,
If I can get her through the course, if I can handle her, because she's fast,
right.
I can beat pretty much everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not having a problem with speed at
Good,
all.
good,
At all.
good. And,
It's not
and
my
the other
issue.
the other issue though, of course, is that getting through the course is not only about speed. It's about cutting the corners sharply, and that's where she's going to have a huge advantage. So you can look at two dogs. I've got this video where, they do this dartfish thing where the two dogs are superimposed.
Yes.
I've got this video of a large black dog and a small white dog, so you can see them which is which. And I got to tell you, the small white dog beats the large black dog time and time again on the corners, on the turns. Because if you don't have to cover as much ground, like that's what every race car wants to do, right? Get the inside corner. So, all right, shoulders. Her shoulders are only average. I'd say they're about 50th percentile. I'd like to see a little more shoulder layback. However, she has a nice length of upper arm. Now, I don't know. Yeah, it's very nice. Her upper arm is very nice look. I don't know if I mentioned this last night. Yeah, it's actually perfect. She's exactly right on the upper arm. The shoulder angulation appears to be inherited separately from length of humerus, and so a dog could have a short humerus and a straight upper arm, or neither, or one or the other. It doesn't seem to be related. But she's a little bit short on shoulder layback. A little bit. Not horrible. I would not call her straight shoulder. The injuries that she is most likely to get are, so her injury that she's most likely to get is shoulder injuries because of her a little bit straighter shoulder, and because it's the most common injury in agility dogs. Okay? So how do you mitigate that? Well, good warm-ups are really essential. And I can give you a couple of warm-up exercises that I like better than any others, and they're fast. And then you do the same exercise for cooling down, except you just do it in reverse order. You do the same thing.
And you can do them in the kind of tight confines.
Yes,
and sometimes you get in an agility setup.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'll be giving you a printout of this too, so I'll give you the instructions for that and the instructions for the exercises that I'm going to give her. While you're here, I'll email it to you, so you'll have it all. So the other thing that I want to, let me see your gait, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about ways in which things that you can observe.
Okay. All
Let's
right.
take a look down the hall at her gait.
Okay.
Turn this off for a second. I'm not used to working with an iPad.
All right, so just prop her down to your chair there.